What's going on, everyone? Hope you're all having a great and safe week so far. Today is the day. I am here to talk about what is my favorite ongoing series of 2020, and that is Something is Killing the Children. Specifically, Volume 1, which is issues 1 through 5. How I came about this was we were able to rent trades, or Jenna at least is able to rent trades from our local comic shop. So this happened to be one that was brought home, and I got told, you have to read this, right after she got done reading it. And so I did. I was instantly hooked. First issue, I was like, oh my god. And ever since then, I've basically added the ongoing issues to my pull box. So now it's volume 1, and I've got 6, 7, 8, and 9, and I'm waiting on 10 to come out, and then I may do another review for that, because that probably will be a volume 2 later on this year. This is from Boom Studios, and it centers around a main character named Erica Slaughter, whom, after receiving a phone call, goes to a small town that is having issues with children disappearing. Now, not all the children return. Most don't, actually, but the ones that do have stories of just horrific stories of monsters, dead bodies, seeing people slain, etc., etc. But nobody's believing these kids. There's actually a boy named James who witnessed a couple of his friends get taken. So when Erica comes to town, she asks around a little bit, kind of gets a little info, because a lot of people think that James is actually in on this because he survived, and etc., etc. So James tells her everything that he saw and what he knows, and she believes him. She tells him it's a monster. Now, the background on most of this is the reason why the kids are mostly targeted by the monsters is because to see the monster, or to be able to see the monster, you have to have a certain level of belief in monsters, which most adults, I cannot talk, most adults don't really have this belief, but kids do, so they're targeted much more often than an adult would. Erica actually has the ability to see these ghosts. They don't specify her age in this, but if I had to guess, she's probably somewhere around, if she's in her teens, she's like 19 years old. But I think she's probably in her 20s somewhere. They also don't say who she works for, because this is some kind of organization. Anyways, one of the other main characters that Erica kind of befriends at first is Tommy Mahoney, who is one of the locals whose sister was one of the children that was taken. They have not actually yet found her, though, but he's trying to keep hope that she's still alive. But Erica kind of befriends him because she happens to be hanging out, I guess, in this cafe that he works at. I think he's a manager, but nah. And so she starts doing some digging around with him and starts, taking down the locations of where the kids were taken, maybe where some of the bodies were found and whatnot, all to try and get a location of where this monster might be hiding. Now, a little secret that she has with her is that she has this stuffed, like, plush octopus that at first you hear it talking to her, and you hear her talking back to it. And the first time, I believe, that they show it, you don't actually see anything. They just show you the octopus, and you're trying to figure it out. And then there's finally, which is one of my favorite pages in the entire book, the sheriff who's trying to do an investigation happens to come to the hotel where she's staying to ask her some questions, because now everybody is starting to get a little suspect of her. All this keeps happening. All of a sudden she pops up in town, etc., etc. Well, when she opens the door, she's in the middle of having a conversation with this octopus. What you see is her answer the door and have the conversation with the officer back and forth. And then in the background, you see the octopus on the bed with this giant, like, spirit monster sticking out behind her. And I was like, wow. And that puts it more into perspective of, the adults can't see something if they don't believe in it, because the cop is oblivious. He doesn't see anything behind her, but they give you this visual of what she sees when she's talking to the octopus. So let's fast forward a little bit. Now she's going down to try and fight this monster. She's figured out where it is. There's a cave down here in the woods, and she suspects that that's probably where the lair is and whatnot. So she takes James, or I should say, she tries to tell James to stay, but he's being stubborn and refuses, so he goes with her. So they come up, they get to the location of the cave, and she tells him, you have to stay out here. It is too dangerous inside. So for now, he stays outside in the vehicle that they're in with the stuffed plush octopus. And Erica goes inside. Well, as she's kind of off for a second, he can hear the octopus. The octopus starts talking to him and starts telling him, you need to go inside. You need to go inside. Just that little devil on your shoulder. Do it, do it, do it.
Do it, do it, do it, do it.
So inside the cave, she gets there. She finds the lair. She's starting to see where the bodies of the kids are. Well, Tommy had actually begun following them. And Tommy shows up. He's got a gun in his hand that belongs to his dad. Tommy, at this point, thinks it literally is her because, he can look around. He can see the bodies of these kids. And he's like, what in the world? And, of course, Erica is carrying machetes, saws, this stuff, so that she can fight the monster with this and whatnot. So this is just not looking good for her. She's trying to get him to calm down. This doesn't work at first. Well, unbeknownst to both of them, James has come in because of the little plushie. And they're struggling, and then Tommy tries to shoot Erica and does not hit her, but he hits Tommy. So they're trying to figure out what to do about him and this and that. She tries to tell both of them to go, and Tommy says, no, I'm not doing that. There's actually a deputy from the sheriff's department that had seen the cars and everything in Tommy's truck back out on the road, and he followed them all the way down to the cave. And he's in there, and they convince him to take James and run to the hospital with him. So now they're doing that. Now it's back to Tommy and Erica in the cave. At this point, the monster has shown up. But only Erica can see the monster, and she's trying to fight him. And Tommy doesn't see what's going on. But all of a sudden, he can start noticing that Erica's getting flung around, and he's just trying to figure out what's going on. Now, I don't remember exactly what it was, but for a second, she gives him the ability to be able to see the monster itself that she's fighting. And, of course, this just... it blows Tommy's mind, because now he's like, wow, she's really telling the truth. She's not lying about this. And at this point, Erica's, she continues to fight. She's pretty much able to dispose of the monster. So, boom, monster gone. Fast forward about a day or so, they go to check on James in the hospital, this and that. But Erica there's something not sitting right with her. And mainly it has to do with the amount of bodies the monster was taking. And then it clicks, and she's pretty smart to figure out that what the monster was doing is, apparently the monster was a mother. So there's a bunch of her kids still hanging around, and there's still going to be children that come up missing. She's got to figure out where they're at, how many of them there are, this and that. And that is kind of where they leave you at the end of Volume 1. All I can say is, for me, I was, like I said, I was hooked at the end of Volume 1, and I had a blast reading this story. This is my favorite horror comic in general right now. Even though I've read others like Pestilence, Satan's Hollow, stuff like that, but this one it has me captivated. I'm excited every week or every other week or so when I pick up my new issues. It's just great writing, great storytelling, awesome artwork, which for me is, as you guys know, I'm an art snob. That's a big thing. Anyways, but that is all I've got for this week, guys. Let me know in the comments. Have you read this? Do you like it? Do you not? If it's not one of your favorites, cool. Let me know maybe what you don't like about it. And I hope everyone is staying safe, stay healthy, most importantly, and have a good one. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.